Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Shawn's the name and mortgages are the game today. We're talking about the free mortgage payment that all these mortgage companies and influencers and news stations are all advertising about, aka mortgage forbearance. All of these people talking about mortgage forbearance are not in the trenches every single day like I am. I'm a mortgage broker licensed in Arizona and Texas. So I am legit the liaison between the servicer or the company that is servicing mortgages and the end consumer who is paying on these mortgages. Again, my job is literally to be the liaison between the two. And there's all sorts of great perks for working with someone like me. I'll let you kind of learn more about that on lending.shawnmalkou.com. But today I want to focus on mortgage forbearance and if you should do it or if you shouldn't do it. Ultimately, what is the truth? So let's find out. Okay, so before we actually dive into why you should do mortgage forbearance or why you shouldn't do it, we need to actually understand what mortgage forbearance actually is. Then we can make an educated decision on whether it's right or not for us. So what is mortgage forbearance? Mortgage forbearance is a temporary postponement of mortgage payments granted by the lender or creditor in lieu of forcing a property into foreclosure. The terms of a forbearance agreement are negotiated between the borrower and the lender. Big keyword here is temporary postponement. Forbearance does not mean that your mortgage payment or even your entire mortgage is completely forgiven and that you'll never have to pay it. No. Actually, the best way to understand it is essentially like procrastination. It's the adult version of procrastination. The longer you wait to do it, the harder and harder it's gonna be. And again, mortgage forbearance can come in all different shapes and sizes, and it's ultimately up to you and your mortgage servicer to kind of dial in and figure out what's actually offered and what you can do. But I wanna give you a typical and actually one of the most popular scenarios when it comes to mortgage forbearance, because again, this is what probably 90% of lenders are gonna be offering to do with you, and a lot of people are not prepared for it. So this is what a typical mortgage forbearance situation looks like. So Daddy-O here has a mortgage and it's currently $1,500 per month. Well, Dad gets laid off, calls the loan servicer, and he asks for a forbearance. With a quick and simple phone call, Dad gets 6 months free of mortgage payments. Okay, now let's fast forward 7 months to when Dad is back to work and that mortgage forbearance is no longer there. Well, Dad hasn't really been able to save up any money over those last 6 to 7 months because he hasn't been working. He's had to dive into his savings, which is totally understandable. So this is what ends up happening when the forbearance period ends. Okay, that's $9,000 plus $1,500, which is now due. Brings your total to $10,500, sir. Wait, why? Well, sir, that's 6 months of mortgage forbearance plus what's due in your current month. Well, I can't do that, so we're gonna have to work something out. I've got just the solution for you. We'll spread that $9,000 out over the course of the next 12 months. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down for that. So what does that look like? That'll be $2,250 a month for the next year. Well, what does that? I can't afford that. Sorry. Oh, and the worst part about this entire situation is that you can't even refinance your mortgage now because your loan went into forbearance, and most of the time you have to wait 12 months after your loan has gone into forbearance, or if you can bring it current. It all kind of depends on your specific situation, but you're kind of in a little bit of a rut now that you went into mortgage forbearance. So all this kind of sucks, right? And you're probably sitting there going, well, Shawn, so clearly you're saying mortgage forbearance is a no-go and do not do that. Not quite. I'm not quite saying that because there always is a good reason for one thing or another depending on your situation. If you truly cannot make your mortgage payment, like you just got laid off, you have no money coming in, and you literally cannot survive if you make your mortgage payment, like you can't do it, right? Then 100% yes, take advantage of mortgage forbearance. There's nothing worse than foreclosing on your home because you can't make the payment. At the end of the day, you do not want to foreclose at all costs. So if that means you have to go into mortgage forbearance to buy you some more time, then 100% do it. Again, foreclosing on a home absolutely sucks. It pretty much delays your chances at being able to buy another home for quite some time, depending on the loan program you want to go into. But that's the thing, is you don't want to foreclose because it's going to kill your credit. It's going to delay you from buying another home, and you're ultimately going to get kicked out of your home anyway. So it's like the triple whammy of death that you do not want to do. So to avoid foreclosing at all costs, definitely go into mortgage forbearance. Remember, mortgage forbearance is the adult version of procrastination. If you've got a big test coming up, would you rather walk into that test without studying and bomb it and fail the class and then you have to retake the entire class? Or would you rather say, hey, look, teacher, I didn't study. Can I get an extra week to study? And they'll say, yeah, sure, we'll give you an extra week to study. Your test is going to be a little bit longer, but yeah, we'll give you an extra week if that'll help you get a better grade. Then yeah, you're going to 100% take that and you're going to hopefully be able to pass that test and ultimately pass that class because you don't want to get yourself into a bigger world of hurt. So you need to think of it like that. Mortgage forbearance buys you time. That is it. It is not a freebie. So I only recommend going into mortgage forbearance if you 100% need it. If you do not 100% need it, then do not do it. I say this all the time, but nothing in life is free. So a lot of people see the mortgage forbearance and they think it's a freebie. Nothing is free. That's just not the way our economy works. By not paying your mortgage, you're not just hurting your mortgage servicer by putting less money in their pockets. That's not what it's about. When you don't pay your mortgage, you're hurting your next door neighbor, the guy who's invested his entire life savings into his 401k so he can retire, and his 401k is heavily made up of mortgage-backed securities. If you're not paying your mortgage, those mortgage-backed securities are super low and not worth that much, and now your neighbor can't retire because their entire life savings has now dwindled to basically nothing, aka the crash in 2008. And I don't want to get too much into the weeds with this topic, but think of mortgage-backed securities or your mortgage like a stock. Think of it like Tesla, for example, right? Let's say you go, man, Tesla, they're making lots of money. I want to drop a bunch of money in there because I think they're going to continue to be profitable. So you buy a bunch of, you spend $100,000 on Tesla and you buy a bunch of stocks and you think, yeah, Tesla's going to continue to make money. That's what I'm going to retire off of. I'm going to put $100,000 in there. By the time I retire, it's going to turn into a lot more money. I'll be able to pull that out and live comfortably. Well, then the next day, Elon Musk comes out and says, hey, you know what? We're going to do this Tesla forbearance thing. If you want a Tesla, come get it. It's free. We're not charging anyone for Teslas anymore. We don't need to make money. Well, now your $100,000 that was in Tesla is now worth $1 because the company is no longer profitable. And when it's no longer profitable, you're not going to be making money. And in fact, you're going to be losing money. So that's kind of the problem with mortgage forbearance that a lot of people don't understand. The value of the mortgage-backed securities market, or like the stock price of it, relies heavily on the value of all the assets that those mortgages are holding on the home. So if you're not paying your mortgage, again, it is hurting the entire economy. And a lot of people will look at mortgage forbearance and think, if I don't pay my mortgage, the only person I'm impacting is my servicer. No, the person you're impacting is actually yourself. So that's like a quick and dirty way of how the mortgage-backed securities market works. I'm just trying to say that you're not just hurting your mortgage servicer, you're hurting yourself and your neighbors because of the massive impact it has on our economy. That's why any type of relief program that is ever put out to the masses always has a silver lining that kind of takes from a different area. So there's never anything that's free in life, and understanding the full process and the full backstory of everything should really put you in a position to make an accurate decision. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the truth behind mortgage forbearance. A lot of people don't understand it, or a lot of people will send it out in mainstream media and not really give people the full idea of what it is. So hopefully you got a full understanding of it, and now you can make a decision if it's right for you or not. Again, I'll say that mortgage forbearance can be super helpful and beneficial, especially during challenging times, but more often than not, it is not worth it for you, and you're gonna be put in a whole world of hurt if you end up doing it. So what I always recommend people do is just lower your liabilities elsewhere. If that means selling a car and going for a lower monthly payment, or refinancing your car to bring your monthly overhead down, or just getting rid of a lot of stuff that you don't need. And I always tell people, you know, a mortgage payment can be very expensive, and it's usually your most expensive expense in your daily life. But if you were to grab a side hustle, you'd be able to kind of supplement some of that income, especially if you get laid off or hours cut or things like that. So get a side hustle going, make a little bit of extra money. Actually, speaking of that, I have a couple videos on some great side hustles you can do to make some really good money. So I will leave those videos linked down below for you to learn more about that. But that sums this video up. Again, think big picture and think what can happen later down the line if you take a mortgage forbearance program on right now. But again, enough of me rambling. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you can hit that like button. Drop me a comment down below of what you think about mortgage forbearance, and maybe if there's some other great solutions to something that could help people out. I always love hearing your guys' feedback, so drop me a comment down below. And then also subscribe if you're new around here. I'm always releasing some great content that can help you out financially. So I'd love to kind of stick around with you. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, I'll see you later.